Story 1. So this happened last month when I was doing my shift at the emergency room. I've been working as an nurse for about 5 years now, and I thought I'd seen everything. People coming in with objects stuck in weird places, parents who wait way too long to bring in sick kids, the usual chaos. But nothing prepared me for what happened that Tuesday afternoon. I was at the nurse's station finishing up some paperwork when a woman rushed through the doors carrying a boy who looked about 8 years old. The kid was crying and holding his arm, blood soaking through a towel wrapped around it. I immediately grabbed a wheelchair and directed them to an examination room. Me, what happened here? The woman set her son down on the bed, and I could see she was wearing multiple crystal necklaces and had some kind of symbol painted on her forehead. Woman, he fell off the playground equipment at school. They called me to come get him. I gently unwrapped the towel to assess the wound. It was a deep gash on his forearm, probably 4 inches long. The kid definitely needed stitches, maybe 6 or 7 of them. I pressed clean gauze against it to stop the bleeding. Me, okay, I'm going to get the doctor. This is going to need stitches for sure. Woman, stitches. No. We don't do stitches. I paused and looked at her, thinking maybe I misheard. Me, I'm sorry, what? Woman, we don't believe in invasive medical procedures. I have healing crystals at home that will take care of this. The boy was still crying, looking scared and confused. I tried to keep my voice calm and professional. Me, ma'am, I understand you have your beliefs, but your son has a deep laceration. Without stitches, he's at risk for infection, excessive scarring, and continued bleeding. This isn't something crystals can handle. Woman, excuse me? Are you questioning my parenting choices? I know what's best for my son. Me, I'm not questioning your parenting. I'm just explaining the medical reality of the situation. Let me get the doctor to talk to you. I stepped out and found Dr. Williams, one of our most experienced physicians. I explained the situation to him, and he nodded with this tired expression that told me he'd dealt with something like this before. We went back into the room together. Dr. Williams, hello, I'm Dr. Williams. I understand your son took a fall. Let me take a look at that arm. He examined the wound carefully, and I could see his jaw tighten slightly. Dr. Williams, this is quite deep. It's cut through several layers of skin and possibly nicked a blood vessel. He needs stitches immediately, and we should probably do a tetanus shot as well depending on what he fell on. Woman, absolutely not. We're leaving. I'll handle this at home with my healing crystals and some essential oils. Dr. Williams, ma'am, I'm not trying to disrespect your beliefs, but this is a serious injury. Your son could lose a significant amount of blood, develop a severe infection, or have permanent nerve damage if this isn't properly treated. Crystals cannot close a wound like this. The woman's face turned red, and she stood up from her chair next to the bed. Woman, how dare you dismiss thousands of years of natural healing wisdom? Modern medicine is poison. I'm reporting this hospital to Mother Earth for your ignorance. I actually had to bite my tongue to keep from laughing at that statement. Report us to Mother Earth. What did that even mean? Dr. Williams, you're welcome to report us to whoever you'd like, but I'm obligated to tell you that refusing necessary medical treatment for your child could be considered medical neglect. If you leave here without getting him proper care, I'll have to contact Child Protective Services. Woman, you can't do that. That's illegal. I'm his mother. Dr. Williams, actually, I can, and I will. Your son is a minor who needs emergency medical care. You're refusing that care based on non-medical reasoning. That falls under my mandatory reporting requirements. The boy started crying harder, probably scared by all the yelling. He looked at his mother with these big, frightened eyes. Boy, Mom, it really hurts. Can they just make it stop hurting? Woman, sweetie, the doctors want to hurt you more with needles and chemicals. Mommy's crystals will make it all better. Boy, but it hurts so much right now. Please, Mom. I knelt down next to the kid and spoke softly to him. Me, we can give you medicine so you won't feel the stitches at all. It'll just feel like a tiny pinch, and then nothing. After that, your arm will heal up nice and strong. Would you like that?" The boy nodded, tears streaming down his face. His mother looked absolutely furious. "Woman, don't talk to my son. You're filling his head with lies." Dr. Williams pulled out his phone. "Dr. Williams, I'm calling Security and Child Protective Services now. You can either consent to the treatment, or your son will be placed in temporary protective custody while we treat him and sort this out with the authorities." "Woman, this is kidnapping. I'm calling the police." "Dr. Williams, please do. They'll tell you exactly what I'm telling you. Your child needs medical care, and we're going to provide it one way or another." The standoff lasted another few minutes, with the woman threatening everything from lawsuits to curses. Finally, security arrived along with our hospital social worker. After another 20 minutes of discussion, threats, and the woman calling several people on her phone who apparently told her the same thing we did, she finally relented. "Woman, fine. But I'm not signing anything that says I agree with this barbaric treatment. Dr. Williams, you need to sign the consent form, or we involve child services. Your choice." She snatched the pen and scribbled her signature so aggressively she almost tore the paper. The whole time we were stitching up her son, she sat in the corner muttering about Western medicine conspiracies and waving crystals around. The kid, meanwhile, was actually pretty brave once we numbed the area. He barely flinched. After we finished, we bandaged him up and gave the mother care instructions, which she crumpled up and shoved in her purse. As they were leaving, she turned back one more time. "Woman, you haven't heard the last of this. The universe will balance this karma." 2 weeks later, I saw in our follow-up notes that the boy came back for a wound check with his father. Apparently, the parents were divorced, and the father had no idea this had happened. The wound was healing perfectly. He thanked the doctor profusely and mentioned something about revisiting the custody arrangement. Sometimes the universe does balance that karma after all. Story 2. I've been working at Riverside Grocery for about 3 years now. Started as a cashier when I was fresh out of high school, and honestly, I never planned to stay this long. But the pay got better, the people were decent, and eventually I got promoted to assistant manager. It's not glamorous, but it's stable, and in this economy, that counts for something. My boss, the store manager, is this no-nonsense guy in his 50s who's been in retail for decades. He's seen everything, dealt with every type of customer you can imagine, and has zero patience for nonsense. We get along great because I'm the same way. We run a tight ship, keep the shelves stocked, and make sure our team is treated fairly. Every Tuesday morning at 7, before the store opens at 8, we have our weekly staff meeting. It's usually pretty straightforward. We go over sales numbers, discuss inventory issues, plan upcoming promotions, and address any concerns from the team. This particular Tuesday started like any other. We had about 15 staff members sitting in the break room, sipping coffee and looking half awake. My boss was in the middle of talking about a supplier issue we were having with organic produce when we heard it. The front door. Someone was rattling the locked entrance and banging on the glass. My boss, "Hold on. We don't open for another hour. Can someone check what that's about?" I got up and walked toward the front of the store. Through the glass doors, I could see this woman in her mid-30s, blonde hair, designer sunglasses perched on her head, carrying what looked like a very expensive purse. She was on her phone, but gestured aggressively at me to open the door. I unlocked it and opened it just enough to talk to her. Sorry, we're not open yet. We open at 8. Karen, I know when you open. I need to come in right now. Is there an emergency? Karen, this is important. I need to speak to whoever's in charge immediately. Something about her tone set off alarm bells, but I've learned that sometimes it's easier to just let my boss handle these situations. I radioed him and told him someone was demanding to speak to management. He sighed over the radio and told me to let her in. I held the door open, and she brushed past me like I was invisible, her heels clicking loudly on the linoleum floor. She followed me back to the break room where everyone was still sitting, now staring at this unexpected interruption. My boss, can I help you? Karen, finally. Are you the manager? My boss, I am. We're in the middle of a staff meeting. What can I do for you? Karen, good. I need to be part of this meeting. The room went silent. A few of my coworkers exchanged confused glances. My boss, I'm sorry, what? Karen, I'm a local influencer. I have over 12,000 followers on social media, and I represent the voice of this community. I deserve to have input on how this store is run. My boss just stared at her for a moment, his face completely blank. My boss, this is a private staff meeting for employees only. Karen, I don't think you understand. I have significant reach in this area. My followers trust my recommendations. I was shopping here last week, and I noticed you're stocking the wrong brand of milk. Me, the wrong brand? Karen, yes, you have that generic brand taking up half the dairy case, and you barely stock the organic almond milk I prefer. That needs to change. My followers deserve better options. One of the cashiers, a college student who'd been with us for about 6 months, actually snorted trying to hold back laughter. Karen shot her a death glare. My boss, ma'am, our product selection is based on sales data and customer demand across our entire customer base. Karen, well, your data is clearly wrong because I'm telling you what people actually want. I influence buying decisions for thousands of people. You should be grateful I'm willing to consult with you for free. Some stores would pay for this kind of expertise. My boss stood up slowly, walked over to the supply closet in the corner of the break room, and pulled out a mop and bucket. He walked back and held the mop out to her. My boss, tell you what. Since you're so eager to influence things around here, why don't you start influencing aisle 4? There's a spill that needs cleaning. The break room erupted. People were trying desperately not to laugh out loud, some covering their mouths, others suddenly finding their coffee cups very interesting. I had to bite my lip hard. Karen's face went bright red. Karen, excuse me? My boss, you said you wanted input on how we run things. Well, we run things by keeping the store clean and safe. Aisle 4 needs mopping. If you're going to be here during our meeting, you might as well make yourself useful. Karen, this is outrageous. Do you know who I am? My boss, you said you're a local influencer. Great. Influence that mop. Show your followers how you're not afraid to roll up your sleeves and do real work. Karen, I'm not cleaning your floors. My boss, then I guess you don't actually want to be involved in how we run this store. The door's that way. We open to the public in 45 minutes. Karen stood there sputtering, looking around the room like she expected someone to come to her defense. Nobody did. Finally, she turned on her heel and stormed toward the exit, her heels clicking even louder than before. Karen, you're going to regret this. I'm posting about this. Your store will be canceled. My boss, make sure you tag us. We could use the free publicity. She slammed through the front door so hard I worried the glass might crack. We all sat in stunned silence for about 3 seconds before the entire room burst into genuine laughter. The best part? She did post about it. A long, rambling rant about disrespectful management and poor customer service. But it completely backfired. Her followers roasted her in the comments, asking why she thought she could barge into a private meeting and demand special treatment. Someone even made a meme of influencing aisle 4 that went semi-viral locally. Our sales actually went up that week. Turns out people appreciated that we didn't cave to some self-important social media personality. My boss printed out one of the supportive comments and taped it to his office wall. Best staff meeting we ever had. Story 3. I've been managing this automatic car wash for about 3 years now. It's not the most glamorous job, but it pays the bills and usually the work is pretty straightforward. We've got one of those drive-through systems where customers stay in their cars while they go through the wash cycle. Simple, right? Well, apparently not simple enough for everyone. Last Saturday was busy as usual. Weekend warriors getting their cars cleaned before family outings, people preparing for dates, the regular crowd. I was in the control booth monitoring the system when I saw a silver sedan pull up to the entrance. The driver was a woman in her 40s wearing sunglasses that probably cost more than my weekly paycheck. She rolled down her window when my coworker approached to take her payment. He's a college kid named Mike who's been working here for about 6 months. Good worker, never causes problems. Coworker, hi there. What wash package would you like today? Woman, the premium one. And make sure you do a good job. I just bought this car. Coworker, yes ma'am, that'll be $35. Now, please make sure all your windows are up, your sunroof is closed, and your car is in neutral. The track will pull you through. Woman, I know how a car wash works. I'm not an idiot. She handed him her credit card with this annoyed expression, like explaining basic safety procedures was somehow insulting her intelligence. Mike processed the payment and gestured for her to pull forward onto the track. I watched on the monitor as her car moved into position. The wash cycle started normally. The pre-soak spray activated, then the soap, then the brushes. Everything was going fine until about 30 seconds in when I noticed something weird on the camera feed. There seemed to be water going inside the car, not just on it. I squinted at the monitor, trying to figure out what I was seeing. Then it hit me. Her sunroof was wide open, completely open. Water was pouring directly into her car like a waterfall into a bucket. I immediately hit the emergency stop button, but the damage was already done. The wash cycle halted, and I grabbed the intercom microphone. Ma'am, your sunroof is open. Stay in your vehicle. We're going to manually move you through the rest of the wash and get you out. I ran out to the bay and could hear screaming even over the sound of the equipment. Mike and I manually pushed her car through to the exit. When she finally emerged, she threw open her door, and water literally poured out onto the pavement. She was absolutely drenched, her hair plastered to her face, mascara running down her cheeks. Woman, what did you do to my car? Ma'am, your sunroof was open. We reminded you to close all windows and sunroof before entering the wash. Woman, no one told me anything about a sunroof. Coworker, I did. Ma'am, I specifically mentioned windows and sunroof before you pulled in. Woman, I don't remember that. You need to warn people about your weather simulation. I stared at her, completely confused. Me, weather simulation? Ma'am, this is a car wash. It uses water to clean cars. That's what car washes do. Woman, you should have signs, warnings. How was I supposed to know you were going to simulate a rainstorm inside my vehicle? Me, there are signs at the entrance. And again, my employee specifically told you to close your sunroof. Her car interior was completely soaked. The seats, the dashboard, the center console. I could see her phone floating in a puddle on the passenger seat. She reached in and grabbed it, shaking water off it. Woman, my phone is ruined. My leather seats are destroyed. This is emotional waterboarding. I want compensation. Me, emotional waterboarding. Woman, yes. Do you have any idea how traumatic it is to be trapped in a car while water pours in? I thought I was going to drown. I'm calling my lawyer. Coworker, the wash cycle is only 3 minutes long, and you weren't trapped. You could have gotten out at any time. Woman, don't you dare tell me what I experienced. I want to speak to the owner. I want a full refund, plus money for my car interior, my phone, my therapy bills, and pain and suffering. Ma'am, we warned you about closing your sunroof. We have cameras that record audio at the payment station. We can review the footage right now if you'd like. Her face went slightly pale, but she wasn't backing down. Woman, I don't care what your fake footage shows. This is your fault. You need better warning systems, louder announcements, maybe sirens. Me, for a car wash. We wash hundreds of cars every week without incident because people follow basic instructions. Woman, I'm writing a review online. Everyone will know about this place and your dangerous weather simulation chamber. She got back in her soggy car and tried to start it. The engine sputtered but didn't turn over. Probably water in the electronics. She tried again. Nothing. Woman, now my car won't start. What else did you break? Me, your car won't start because there's water in the electrical system. Because your sunroof was open. You'll need to call a tow truck. Woman, I'm not paying for a tow truck. You're paying for it. Me, no ma'am, we're not. This situation was entirely preventable if you'd followed the instructions you were given. She sat there in her soaked car, water still dripping from every surface, looking absolutely defeated. Then she pulled out her soaking wet phone and tried to use it. It was dead. Woman, can I at least use your phone to call someone? I handed her the phone from our office. She called someone, probably her husband or a friend, and explained the situation. Even from a distance, I could hear the person on the other end asking if she'd closed her sunroof. Her face turned bright red. Woman, whose side are you on? She hung up and thrust the phone back at me. Woman, this isn't over. You'll be hearing from me. She sat in her car for 45 minutes, waiting for a tow truck, soaking wet, in complete silence. When the tow truck finally arrived, the driver took one look at the situation and started laughing. He actually asked her if she drove through a river. Woman, it was the car wash. Tow truck driver, did you leave your sunroof open? She didn't answer, just got into the cab of the tow truck in her wet clothes. As they were pulling away, Mike turned to me. Coworker, do you think she'll actually leave a review? Me, oh, I guarantee it. Sure enough, 2 days later, a 1-star review appeared online. She claimed we assaulted her with water, failed to provide adequate warnings, and that our facility was dangerous. She called for the business to be shut down for public safety. The review got 17 comments. Every single one pointed out that car washes use water. That's literally their entire purpose, and asked if she'd forgotten to close her sunroof. Someone even made a joke about her needing a warning label on her own forehead. She deleted the review 3 days later. We never heard from her lawyer, probably because no lawyer would take that case. We did add one new sign though, right at the entrance, in huge letters, "Close your sunroof." My coworker suggested we add, "We mean it" underneath, but I figured that might be overkill. Then again, with customers like her, maybe there's no such thing as overkill when it comes to obvious instructions. Story 4. I've been volunteering at Paws and Whiskers Animal Shelter for about 2 years now. It started after I lost my own cat to old age and realized how much I missed being around animals. The shelter is always understaffed and underfunded, so they rely heavily on volunteers like me to help with adoptions, cleaning, and general care. I usually work weekend shifts, helping potential adopters find their perfect match. The shelter director is this amazing woman in her 40s who's dedicated her entire life to animal welfare. She's firm but fair, and she taught me everything about the adoption process. We have strict policies to make sure animals go to good homes. Background checks, home visits for certain animals, and thorough interviews. We've turned people away before, and we'll do it again if we think an animal won't be safe or properly cared for. This particular Saturday started normally. I was cleaning out the kitten room, which housed about 8 kittens ranging from 8 weeks to 4 months old. They were all climbing on me, purring, being absolutely adorable. We just opened for the day when the director called me to the front. Director, we've got someone here interested in adopting a kitten. Can you bring her back and help her meet them? I washed my hands and headed to the lobby. Standing there was this woman, probably in her early 30s, wearing what looked like several layers of flowing scarves despite it being 70 degrees outside. She had crystals hanging around her neck and was holding her phone up, seemingly taking selfies with our adoption board in the background. Me, hi there. I hear you're interested in adopting a kitten. Karen, yes, I've decided it's time to add a feline energy to my spiritual practice. Me, that's great. We have several kittens available right now. Do you have any preferences? Male or female? Active or calm? Karen, I need to see their auras first. I paused, not entirely sure I'd heard her correctly. Me, Their auras? Karen, yes. I'm very spiritually attuned. I can see auras, and I need a kitten whose aura matches mine. My aura reader told me I'm a violet aura person, so I need a kitten with complementary energy. Probably something in the blue or silver spectrum. Me, okay? Well, how about we go meet the kittens, and you can see which one you connect with. I led her back to the kitten room. As soon as we walked in, the kittens went crazy, meowing and rushing to the front of their enclosures. We had tabbies, a few black kittens, some orange ones, and a gorgeous gray kitten that was particularly vocal. Karen immediately pointed at a small black kitten in the corner. Karen, that one, I can see it. The aura is silver with hints of violet. That's the one. Me, great. Let me tell you about her. She's about 10 weeks old, very playful, and… Karen, I don't need the details. I can feel her energy. She's mine. I want to reserve her right now. Me, we don't do reservations unless you complete the adoption application and it's approved. Let me grab the paperwork. Karen, I don't have time for paperwork today. I'm on my lunch break. Just hold her for me and I'll come back. Me, I'm sorry, but we can't hold animals without starting the adoption process. Our policy is fair to everyone who's interested. Karen, but I already told you, our auras match. That's more important than whatever random person might walk in here. Me, we operate on a first-come, first-served basis for approved adopters. If you'd like to fill out the application now, we can process it today. Karen pulled out her phone and started typing rapidly. Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm literally being discriminated against for my spiritual beliefs. Me, no one's discriminating against you. Everyone follows the same adoption process. Karen, you're practicing aesthetic discrimination. You won't reserve the cat based on vibrational compatibility, which is a valid criteria. This is prejudice against spiritual people. The gray kitten, who'd been meowing loudly the whole time, suddenly let out an especially loud cry. Before I could react, Karen lunged forward and grabbed the gray kitten right out of the enclosure, pulling her against her chest. Karen, fine. If you won't let me reserve the black one properly, I'll take this one instead. Her aura is shifting anyway. I can work with silver gray. The kitten, understandably terrified by being suddenly grabbed by a stranger, started squirming and crying. Her little claws came out, and she was clearly distressed. Me, put her down right now. Karen, she's choosing me. Can't you see? She's trying to align with my energy. Me, she's scared. You're hurting her. Put her back immediately. I reached for the kitten, but Karen turned away, clutching the poor thing tighter. The kitten yowled and managed to scratch Karen's arm. Karen yelped but didn't let go. That's when the director walked in. Director, what's going on here? Karen, this volunteer is refusing to let me adopt based on spiritual compatibility. I'm being discriminated against. Director, put the cat down. Karen, but she chose me. Director, that cat is terrified and you're holding her incorrectly. Put her down now or I'm calling the police. Something in the director's tone must have gotten through because Karen finally, reluctantly, put the gray kitten back in the enclosure. The poor thing immediately ran to the back corner and hid. Director, you need to leave. Now. Karen, you can't kick me out. I want to file a complaint. Director, you just grabbed an animal without permission after being told our policies. You're banned from this shelter. Leave, or I call the cops. Karen, my followers are going to hear about this. Aesthetic discrimination is real, and you're all closed-minded. Director, your followers can adopt animals from other shelters. You're done here. Karen grabbed her purse and scarves and stormed out, muttering about oppression and spiritual persecution. I immediately went to check on the gray kitten, who was shaking but otherwise okay. Me, is she really banned? Director, absolutely. We keep a list. She's on it now. I spent the next 20 minutes calming down the gray kitten with treats and gentle pets. By the afternoon, she was back to her playful self. The next day, a lovely family came in and adopted her properly, with completed paperwork and everything. Their auras must have been compatible too.